What's up, everybody? This is John with iRacing, back with our fourth track tutorial. This week we're going to be at South Boston Speedway. Um, South Boston's kind of close to where I live now, so I've been to this track quite a few times. It's always fun to look at, fun to be a spectator at, but as far as driving this track for iRacing, for me, it's not so fun. This is one of the tracks that I don't really love in the rookie cars, but if you go to the open setup, I actually like it a lot more. A few things before we get started. If you've seen the other videos, we always keep the driving line on during these videos so you can kind of see where I'm braking, where I'm gassing, where I'm turning in at. As far as the info goes, I did this as the realistic weather based off April 8th, which is, I believe, when this track starts for the Legends Rookie Series. Track temps 102 is about what it was when I was recording this, 102, 103. And everything else I put light wind, clear skies and cool temperatures, I believe. I think I'm gonna start doing that just to keep it standard across everything. So, without further ado, let's get started. So when you get started on this track, we're gonna drive on out, get up to second gear before we get to our first turn, and stay in second gear until about halfway through, and then we'll shift up. Again, this first lap's going to be a hot lap, so we want to stay high, get as much speed as we can coming to the start-finish line so we can really make a faster lap here. All right, for this first turn, a few things. Let's back it up. Too far. My mark for when I'm going to start turning into this turn is this little black thing right here on the wall, and this line and this line. I want my left wheel to be, this is where I'm going to start making my turn. This line right here, I want my left wheels to touch it, and I almost want my right wheels to be touching it, this line coming through. So it's kind of a wide turn. You're going to be hitting it later on the apex here. It's really going to help you straighten out, and if you hit this right, you can kind of duck down the apron and save yourself time. There is a caveat to that though, and I'll show you here in a second, but let's slow it down and move into it. I'm coming down, I kind of want my left wheels here, on my right wheels almost touching this. And you can see here in the gas and the brake, I'm using the brake here a little bit. A lot of people don't. I use the brake not only to slow my car down, but it also helps rotate the car. There's 3 things with these cars that you can really do to help rotate your car more. One is use brake, one is let off the gas completely, and that tends to help rotate it more. And the other one is downshifting. If you still have high RPMs and you're downshifting, not super high, mind you, but around like the 5,000-ish range, I don't know the exact number, RPMs and you downshift, it's a little too high to be downshifting smoothly, but it does help your car rotate a little bit. I do the same thing at Oxford when I race there, kind of the same thing here, just to help kick the car around just a little bit more. So crossing the start finish line, third gear, we're going to come through here, like I said. Left wheels are going to be here, right wheels are going to try to touch here. A little bit of brake and I'm easing off the gas. Not a complete let off, it is a slow ease off the gas. And eventually I'm going to let off the gas and the brake both, and that's going to help the car rotate. But I'm really trying to get my left wheels down to this line right here. And there's going to be a mark right past this NASCAR sign up here. About right here is when I'm going to start getting back into the gas fully. I start gently putting the throttle up now. By the time I hit right about here in between this one and this one, I want to be back in the gas. I'm going to pause this here because there is a bump right about here, and it is in this section. There's a little one here, there's another up here, and even if you go higher, there's smaller bumps there. But coming out of this turn, if you hit that bump, it can slow you down. I've been trying to find the correct way to get out of here without hitting that bump, but it seems like I hit it every single time. If you go too low, you will definitely hit it. It seems like following this line right here, maybe just above it, will help you miss it completely. But with that said, we're going to come out of this right here, and I'm aiming in between this little Caesar sign and this Speedway sign right here. That's where I want to be back at the wall, and really trying to get going straight, gaining some speed. At South Boston, this next turn is pretty similar to the first turn. Some of the differences are there is no huge bump coming out of the turn, coming out of turn 4 like there is coming in turn 2, or coming out of turn 2. You can kind of see here that this seems to be a little more at a sharper angle than this is. It seems to be a wider turn here in 3 and 4. And also, you can kind of see how this has this almost like it just curves and then cuts straight again. And this seems to be a little bit more smooth coming out of here. So when we come in here, my marks for this one, it's going to be this line right here. You can see this, whatever this sign is, strut master sign. I'm going to try to come down my left wheels right here at the edge of this. I did not mean to do that. And the same thing. I'm going to start to let off the gas, a little bit of brake to help the car rotate. When I get in the middle of the turn, I'm going to let completely off the gas and the brake, downshifting, and that's going to help my car rotate. I'm going to play this through full speed first before I kind of break it down more. Let's go back to our strut masters. We're going to be coming through here. A little bit of brake, coming off the gas, and about right past the sign, I'm completely off. This to be cool, I am completely off gas and brake. This is kind of helping the car rotate. This seam that runs right here, if you have your left wheels at it or below it, that's also going to help your car rotate a little bit more at this track too. So that kind of helps. If you get down this apron, you're going to find your car might tighten up a little bit until you get back on the gas. And even then, it's going to be hard to drive it out. You're going to waste a lot of tire doing that. You might have a faster lap if you apex a little higher. You can kind of cut that back corner there, but that's your call. My mark coming out of this corner, you can see this 4 right here. When my A pillar hits that 4 coming out, that's when I want to be completely back in the gas. You'll see me start kind of throttling up before this, just very slowly because I don't like to slam it. I'm going to slowly ease back into the gas and be completely back in it by the time I'm at this 4. So I'm starting to throttle up. By the time that 4 hits, I want to be all the way back in the gas, which is a little small delay. I was lagging. Not computer lagging, but brain lagging. And then coming out of here, my mark is actually going to be this white line. That's kind of where I'm aiming for, is right here. Just straighten back up. And that's going to net a 17.249, which I am pretty pleased with, considering the track temp is 101 to 103 degrees. I've got absolutely no complaints about that. With a cooler track, you might be able to run something a little bit faster. One of the main reasons that I emphasize the whole straightening up and finding a mark where you straighten up is if you imagine your car with the most over-exaggerated wheels turning left, say they were turned 80 degrees to the left, and then you just push the gas. For this case, it's a rear-wheel drive car. Your car is definitely going to be slower if those wheels were not pointed to the left and just pointed straight. I mean, it's just good sense there. So anytime that we get our wheel back straight or as straight as possible, that's going to be a lot faster for our car. And real quick, before we finish up the qualifying, I'm going to show you a small thing that I do when I'm qualifying in these cars. If we set this to auto, it's going to bump me up to 15.5. When I go to qualify, I will actually bump this force feedback strength down about 4 clicks to 13.5. I was messing around with it here at 14.5, but you don't have to have it at 13.5. That's just what feels good for me. Run a few laps. This auto will come up. You can click it. It'll give you what it thinks your force feedback should be. But yeah, if you turn this down, you're going to be able to turn your wheel just a little bit more. The wheel's going to be more free to turn it, and you might find yourself having a little bit faster lap. When you go to race, and right after you get done qualifying, or right when you grid up, be sure to turn this back either to auto or wherever you had it set to, just bump it back up 4 clicks. And that's going to help you save your tires a little bit more because you're going to have to be fighting it a little bit more to turn it. All right. As far as our race pace goes for this track, it's nice because the marks are pretty much the same marks that you have. It's just you kind of have to get on the gas or on the brake a little bit sooner and wait just maybe a touch later to get on the gas. Really focus on straightening out, letting that car catch before you start really getting into the gas. Um, and you just walk through it here. I'm just going to drive through at full speed first. So coming into this corner, kind of the same thing. I'm looking for this right here and this right here. Coming way off the gas, downshifting there. And the whole goal is to try to keep my wheel as straight as possible. If I'm turned past this tachometer, I don't want to be fully on the gas. And I start coming up in the gas, you'll see me start turning the wheel right. Right here, I'm still a little bit past, but that's not going to be a huge deal. But you see the wheel trying to snap it straight when I can. And our turn-in mark for our qualifying, if you remember, was about, or turn-out mark was about right here in between, maybe a little less. For this, it's going to be closer up here. That way we're making this much wider turn coming around, and it's helping save tires because we can try to get a straighter line coming out. Same thing back here. Coming in low, little brake, little bit of gas. My mark is about the same as this 4 right here coming out. However, this time I kind of try to wait for the car to rotate just a little bit more before I started getting fully into it, and I dive low in the apron for the most part. If this is a 30 lap race or 40 lap race, I'll dive down 30 laps of that. Mainly because you'll see here when I come out, it's a much straighter angle coming out. You can see my wheel, I didn't really cut hard to turn into that, down to that apron. Especially not on the gas, but car is rotating, I'm down low, and I'm trying to drive it out as straight as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it for South Boston. This track you got to be patient with. You got to really get some practice in. You are going to burn tires this track a lot and very fast. So you got to think everybody else is also going to burn tires very fast too. So if you can save your tires just a little bit more, they can. Maybe you're not having the fastest qualifying lap, but if you're saving better than somebody else, you're going to finish in front of them. Unless you just get way out 20 seconds ahead of you, of course, but you know what I mean. So that wraps it up for South Boston. I have no idea where the Legend Series is at next week, but I'll find out. Make sure it's posted before the series starts. Make sure you like and subscribe. I always forget to say that, so I don't have to post it here in the video. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time.